MSI Force GC30 V2. Here in Nepal, we often find it tough looking for some gaming peripherals. One of the gaming peripherals being a proper controller for us to play our favorite games, from platformers to shooters to adventure games and more. Even a controller that works on your phone? Well, we might have you covered there. This right here is the MSI Force GC30 V2 wireless controller. MSI is a brand we don't normally associate with gaming controllers. We normally think of Xbox and PlayStation, but यहाँ नेपालमा authentic controllersहरू पाउन गाह्रो छ. From my personal experience as well, I wanted to get a good controller at a cheap price, but well, no shock there. After a week or so, that controller stopped working. If anyone is wondering, it was a high copy of a PlayStation 4 controller, which was not good. So I was pleasantly surprised when I heard MSI has dipped their hands into making controllers too, and it's actually pretty good. The MSI Force GC30 V2 wireless controller has a 600 mAh lithium-ion battery, which according to MSI's website should give you 8 hours of usage time. It comes with a wireless USB dongle, which acts as a connector between the PC and the controller for Bluetooth connectivity. There's a USB 2.0 cable if you want to play with the controller in wired mode or to just charge it. Now for an interesting part about this controller. This controller has 4 modes. जुन तपाईहरुले MSI को लोगो भएको बटनमा क्लिक गरेर एक्टिभेट र चेन्ज गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ. First is the default mode, second is the analog mode, third is the digital mode, and the last being the Android mode. So तपाईहरुले युसेज अनुसार चेन्ज गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ यो कन्ट्रोलरको मोड. If you want to play a game on the PC, you can switch the mode accordingly, and if you want to play a controller supported game on your Android phone, you can do so too. Talking about the build and design now, this controller has a plastic yet strong build. A main complaint regarding some controllers would be the grip, as after playing a game on a controller for a long time, some of our palms get sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. But jokes aside, the controller provides us with a grip surface that makes it really comfortable to use even धेरै समय game खेल्दा पनि. The MSI Force GC30 takes an Xbox controller layout, which I personally am not that big of a fan of, but because I use a controller so much just to play platformer games, and it really sucks having to bring the thumb so far off just to use the D-pad. If anyone plays any sort of fighting or precise platformer games, you know the struggle I am talking about. This controller counters that by not having the D-pad so far off like controllers with the Xbox layout usually do, making it easier. But I would suggest people to not use the D-pad, as the D-pad is elevated slightly, so there's a slight problem when it comes to inputting the precise combos or moves set when you play games. MSI knew that, and to counter it, they made the D-pad detachable and provides you with an additional D-pad cover, which is circular in shape and also makes the input more precise. The buttons seem good and feel good too while using. Two of my favorite things about this controller are, number 1, the joystick, and number 2, the trigger buttons. The joystick feels smooth and clean while using, making for precise input, and the trigger buttons have this almost spring-like feel to them whenever you press on them, and makes this really satisfying clicky sound. It could definitely be the alternative to the ASMR you get from mechanical keyboards, but for controllers. Nice. Now that we got the build and design out of the way, let's talk about how this controller performs in some of our games of choice. The games in question are as following: Celeste, Little Nightmares, FIFA 22, Cuphead, and Apex Legends. Right off the bat, I need to tell you something. You got to use the additional circular D-pad cover if you want to play a 2D platformer game. I tried playing Celeste and Cuphead using the normal D-pad cover, but there's just too much elevation, making the input so imprecise. When you use the additional D-pad cover though, that's a whole different story. The input becomes precise and it actually makes it easier. I would say, since it provides you with a wider range of motion, I found myself feeling really in tune after getting used to the layout. The controller performs really good. There's no delay whatsoever, and the battery lasts a long time. We didn't charge this controller for almost a week, and still we were playing games on and on. The controller performs good, even in your sports-related games such as FIFA. Although this is where some people might not like the springy trigger button from the controller, but I didn't find it to be that much of a bother. Now it's time for me to confess regarding something. I have never played an FPS game on a controller, so I was pretty bad with it while I played Apex Legends. But I'm sure people who play FPS games on controller would really enjoy it, as this controller seems almost made for that genre of gaming, with the trigger buttons and the Xbox layout. For people looking to buy this controller to play on their mobile phone, be sure to check whether the game in question is controller supported or not. The following games such as Call of Duty Mobile, Apex Legends and Among Us did support the controller. The MSI Force GC30 V2 wireless controller will cost you around 6,000 Nepali rupees and comes along with a year-long warranty. The controller being supported on PC and Android with wireless Bluetooth connectivity makes it more expensive. The price point definitely is on the higher end of controllers. A genuine PlayStation and Xbox controller is hard to come by here in Nepal, and majority of the ones we see on sale are high copies. पैसा चाहिँ महँगो तर्फमै पर्छ यो कन्ट्रोलरको, तर नेपालमा चाहिँ जेन्युइन र अथेन्टिक कन्ट्रोलरहरू पाउन गाह्रो हुन्छ, अनि त्यसको माथि जुन कन्ट्रोलर हामी युजुअली देख्छौं are either copies or high copies. The wireless MSI controller here in RaysTronics is genuine, but if you are looking for a wired controller and don't really want a wireless one, you get a variant of the MSI Force GC30, which is wired and comes about 1,000 Nepali rupees cheaper. Here in RaysTronics, the launch of this video will result in a special offer for the price of the MSI Force GC30 V2 wireless controller to Nepali rupees 5,500 and MSI Force GC20 to Nepali rupees 4,500. The MSI GC30 V2 wireless controller is an amazing controller that, in Nepal's uncertainty of copy or high copy products that stop working or just don't work at all at times, is a really great alternative to have. We hope this video was helpful to provide you with the knowledge regarding the product, and we wish to share and create more content for everyone. So we would really appreciate it if you liked, shared this video, and subscribe to our channel here at RaysTronics. Thank you so much for your time, and take care one and all. Done. 1, 2, 3, end.